Welcome to the Elevate the Vibe podcast, bringing you juicy convos with thought leaders discussing the wild world of parenting.
What up, Vibe Hivers? It's Jay. It's your favorite man of the day, here with your cutie patootie woman with the booty, on fire with all of the desire, Miss Katie Berlin. We're the hosts of the Elevate the Vibe podcast. Thanks for joining us.
All right, Vibe Hive. Well, this week we are sharing part one of a two-part series.
1, 2.
This week we're talking embarrassing stories related to your children. So if you're a parent out there, or if you're a caregiver, anytime where the beloved child that you're taking care of, or that is your own child, or someone else's child, has provided you with a moment where you maybe wish you could just sort of shrink back into the bushes, Homer Simpson style. So we asked the audience for feedback on this. I have a story to share. I've got a couple good ones. They are going to be anonymous. So here we go. I'm going to kick it off with our first story.
Let's do it.
Submission number 1. My embarrassing story was breastfeeding my daughter in public. I must have been so tired and exhausted from not sleeping, so I forgot to put my top back on. We were standing in line at the post office, so I was walking around with my top down and my boob out for a while. So embarrassing.
Oh my goodness. Lord help us if the mail service didn't have enough problems on their hands.
I mean, that's a way to spice up life at the post office.
It's true. One of the most mundane things in the entire world just got a zing.
Maybe if you were on a beach in Greece, this wouldn't be such a big deal. But when you're in line at the post office in the United States, not so much the gift that you want to keep giving the postal workers.
Although I think the next time we visit Greece, I'm definitely going to see if there's anybody at the mail room or the post office and seeing how their mailing is going there, because that would be a very odd sight to see.
As a mom, like breastfeeding in public, it's already like, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's uncomfortable, but you're just trying to pay attention and take care of everything so that your boobs aren't flying all around in general and you don't have milk spilling out of all crevices of your body. So, you're already like a little bit, I don't know if on edge is the right word, but you're just really cognizant of what's happening. So then you're like, okay, baby's off. All right, now back to what I'm doing. And if you're with someone else and they don't even notice it, it's like having something in your teeth and nobody tells you, except the something in your teeth is your nipple.
I mean, I think as a guy, there have been a million times where you could leave a urinal with your fly open or whatever, and nobody notices you because generally people aren't just checking out your junk. But, if you're a lady and you're walking around with, number 1 or number 2 just hanging out, or, lady A, lady B, she, he, whatever you want to name them, just hanging out and flashing the world, it's like your eyes just kind of gravitate there. Oh my goodness, it's a titty. And I could see that be mortifyingly embarrassing. But yes, again, another reason someone would maybe want to go to the post office a little more often. I don't know. That's just kind of creepy. I'll just leave it there.
All right. Submission number 2. If you have ever taken your kids to daycare or preschool, you'll understand how this will feel, because there's some pretty strict requirements around taking your kids to daycare and preschool if they're sick. Like, you're basically like hexed. We are going through this right now.
It's true.
Sammy had a little runny nose, and I think it'll be like a month since he's been there because we didn't follow all the proper procedures and we did things incorrectly. I'm really sorry to our preschool if you're listening, but he'll be back because we figured it out and we got our shit together. But anyway, this submission says, my son threw up. The next morning, he was fine. Then dropped him off at daycare and he projectile vomited. He told the daycare employees that he had puked right before drop off. So most people believe kids when they tell you something. So then they're like, oh yeah, you just puked right before you got dropped off at daycare. And then as the parent, what are you going to be like? No, he's lying. Like,
That lying little sack of, how could you? It's like, you're on our side, kid. We're trying to help you out here.
yeah, then the daycare is like, yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Yeah, and don't bring your lying ass around here again.
Right?
Your spot's been taken.
Spot's been taken.
Seat's taken. Okay. The next submission that I have is a story from a friend. I know this person. I know this story. So this is a pretty good one. This person was driving home and they had their child in the car and their child had an accident. And when I say an accident, I'm not talking about number 1. I'm talking about number 2. So the mom was speeding home and the car smells like doo-doos. The mom's trying to speed home to clean up this diarrhea out of the car seat, out of the car. This kid's old enough that they're not in diapers anymore.
Oh,
this is a really disgusting situation. The mom gets pulled over and has to wind down the window and it smells horrendous. And the cop's like, do you know you were speeding? And she was just like, yes, I'm really sorry. And then he looks at her with this look on his face like, what in the is that smell? And she was just like, yeah, I think something happened. I'm just trying to get home. And the cop just kind of like backed away and was like, you know what? Like, it's okay. Just go ahead. Just get out of here. Like, get out of here.
I kind of wish he would have just said, well, PF Chang's mostly. Because now I'm envisioning the guy from Dumb and Dumber pulling out,
right.
the guys
It's a pullover. Right,
well, yeah, but drinks all the pee and he's like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of those moments.
My goodness.
So, yeah, needless to say, trying to speed home to get your kid washed up, I guess, hosed off. I don't know.
I think the moral of the story here is to just take your time, live in the stench, because we don't want a $75 ticket. We don't want a point on our license. You just got to bask in the greatness that is the bowels of your child.
Indeed.
You got nothing to say to that, joke?
All right, so this last submission is my own submission. Not super embarrassing, but a little embarrassing. So, like Jason, it takes a lot to embarrass me. So, here we go. When Sammy was about 6 weeks old, I was on maternity leave, and I had an interview with a private equity firm. I had never met with this private equity firm before. They had several brands. They had a big-time partnership with a big celebrity, like A-list top celebrity. Everyone listening would know who this person is. And I was interviewing for a head of marketing job for this private equity firm with this big celebrity. I'm in the meeting, and Sammy is 6 weeks old, mind you. So any parents out there, any mamas who maybe were nursing, know that at 6 weeks, your boobs, they tell you when you're going to nurse. You do not have a choice.
And you're a feeding machine at that point.
You are a feeding machine. Mm-hmm. It's like, you can be like every 30 minutes, like that cluster feeding time. So I'm sitting in this meeting and it goes longer than anticipated. And I'm at a table now with the head investor and the 2 other founders. And my boobs start leaking like crazy. I was wearing a shirt with like a coat, like a jacket over top of it. But like it was leaking enough that I could feel it and see it from where I was sitting. And I'm like, I need to figure out how to get the fuck out of here right now before I like get up and there's a puddle of, liquid that's meant for my child and I'm sitting in it. So needless to say, I had to like quickly skedaddle.
And not to mention, it took us like 45 minutes to drive there. I followed you in one car. You fed Sammy ahead of the meeting to try to avoid this. The meeting went long, and yes.
Yeah.
Puddle Central.
Yeah, it was just one of those moments where
we tried everything we could do to avoid a catastrophe.
Well, and then Jason was like texting.
Like, hey, babe, how did it go?
Where are you? Where are you? And my boobs are like, I feel like a fembot in Austin Powers with like, instead of sparks shooting out, it was like, I'm like, Okay, this sounds great. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity. Okay, bye.
Wow, that leaky lady, she really took her time. She was trying to get the hell out of here quick.
Yeah, I have no idea if they noticed, but I was like,
Yeah.
I was ready to get out. So, I mean, not super embarrassing, but like not really the first impression you want to make on someone. Like, wow, I'm so excited. My boobs are leaking. I can't wait for this opportunity. You see how excited I am? Like, yeah. So that rounds out our embarrassing child stories. And next week for part 2, we are going to be talking about embarrassing moments with parents. So stay tuned and tune in for that. And with that, Vibe Hive, we love you. We will see you next week.
Catch you in a week, Vibe Hivers. Peace.